I want to welcome all of you to WM Day for 2020. I've been doing this a long time. A long time. I was trying to think the other day how long it's been, and I can't even remember how long it's been. But it's so good to see you. And I want to tell you that our mission statement for 2020 for our WM is to be focused on Jesus through His Word, prayer, and by being a witness for Him through serving others, our church, and our community. We're so blessed to have such a wonderful WM here. And it boggles my mind that in some churches there are no women's ministries. It really does. I don't know how churches function without a women's ministry. And I know these men need we women. I know that for a fact. And so I know that we are needed in the church. And I'm just so glad to be able to serve that way in the church and to have ladies that serve along beside of me. For those of you, some of our ladies who do not attend our women's ministry, I want to invite you to come. It's usually the second Tuesday after the second Sunday. Don't don't ask me why. We've always done it this way. If I need to move it, change it, I do. But we invite you to come and be a part. Um, and fellowship with us, and we do Bible study, and we have prayer together, and we do all kinds of meetings. And uh, I want to invite you on March the 17th. We're going to Famous Subs and eat together and fellowship together. And so I invite you to come and be with us. We're going to be there at 6 o'clock. And so I know that you will enjoy it if you'll come and just be a part and be there with us. We have a lot of fun together. We laugh and cry, and we just have a good time together in the Lord. And I just appreciate all of our ladies who come. I do want to thank the Holly Hill Church. You have always supported us in women's ministry. I do not know a time that I have served, or since I've been in this church for almost 49 years this year, that you have not supported the WM in this church, and I appreciate it, all that you do, and how you support we ladies as we try to carry on the work of the Lord. I also want to thank our pastor for all of his support with the women's ministry. Um, I'm going to say this. I got to say this. It'd be kind of dangerous if you didn't, Pastor. Um, Let me say that, and I'm going to leave it at that, and I'm going to move right along. But anyway, I'm so glad that our pastor has wisdom and knowledge when it comes to women's ministry. I really do. Uh, and we laugh, but there are some pastors who do not, and I'm very sad to say that. But I appreciate Pastor. I called him Parley this morning in Sunday school. What came over me? I had a senior moment, and that Pastor Carley for all his support and anything that I've wanted to do. He's been right there beside of me to help me get it done, and I just appreciate him so much. And all you ladies, um, some of you don't attend women's ministry, but I can ask you to do anything, and you will do it for me, and I appreciate that. As a leader, and if you've ever been a leader, um, you're only the leader according to the people that help you and walk beside of you. That's who makes you the leader. It's not what I do, but it's what you do to help me look good. And that's what you do. You help me look good as a leader. I couldn't do this job if I didn't have the help of all of you helping me to do this. So it's not about me. First of all, it's all about the Lord and what He's enabled us to do. And I thank Him for that. He should have been the first one, I think, this morning. I do thank the Lord. I thank Him for helping us to be able to do the ministry that we've been able to do uh, in our WM. And I thank Him for that, and how He gives us the strength and the wisdom to know what to do and how to do. And I do. I thank the Lord for that. Um, I have some special ladies and I, that are on the board with me, that help me, that keep me straight and keep me on the straight and thank you, and keep me going in the right direction. And the second in command with me is Gail Midget. And Gail, the other day, I can see her right now. She's mouthing. I can see her. Her lips are just a moving. And she said to me the other day something about. She said, I don't think I need to do this. Be this vice president. I said, oh yeah, you do too, because I can call on Gail, and Gail's always there. She comes out here and helps me do things, and if I'm not able to be there, she does for me. And so, Gail, I want you to come up here. I know you don't want to do this, but you're going to do this for me today. She's looking at her sister with that grin. I can see it right now. She'll tell me. She'll tell me about it later. You know I love you, Miss Janice. Come right on up here, Miss Janice. Miss Janice keeps me straight, and that's a lot. Miss Janice has that look about her. Have you ever seen that look? I've seen that look many times. Miss Janice will kind of look at me like that. But she loves me so good. She loves me. She loves me so good. I don't know what I'd do without her. She does the books and the secretary and takes care of the money and gets the reports in, and she does it all. Plus cooks and does anything you want her to do. She's been my mentor for 49 years. She's spoiled me about doing things and how to do things, so that when I go other places and see things done, I think, Miss Janice wouldn't like this. And I'd say, that's not right. But I love her with all my heart. She's been my spiritual mama. She has been my spirit. She has. Her mama was my spiritual mama. And I've sat at her feet a many a time. And when Miss Sally passed away, she became my spiritual mama. And I can go and sit and talk to her. She means so much to me, and I love her. She means a lot to this church and all that she does. Some things behind scenes that you don't even know about that she does. Only God knows. But I appreciate her so much. I love you, Miss Janice. And Miss Marietta, is she here? She's in the nursery. Marietta has done a lot of the fundraising for women's ministry and also for the bums. And she's taken the responsibility on to plan meals and plates and all of this kind of stuff. And she's just been amazing. And I appreciate all that she's done and that she does for the women's ministry too. She's always there to take part and to do. And I appreciate her so much. And here she comes. And I have to apologize to her. I was told that she wouldn't be here today, and so I didn't get her a flower. But she's leaving to go to Charlotte to stay with her grandbaby. So I'll get her one when she comes back. Thank you, Miss Mary. I love you. And last but not least is a beautiful lady, a young lady that has just grown in our hearts. And I appreciate her. I appreciate her life. I appreciate all that she does in this church, the way she works with our youth, the way she walks beside of her husband in his ministry, and the way she takes care of her three beautiful children. And that is my wonderful, beautiful pastor's wife. And I want her to come up here. I have grown to love her just like my own. She's one of my girls. And I appreciate her so much and all that she does in this church. And the way that she supports her husband, that means a lot in ministry. When you see the pastor's wife walking along beside of the pastor. It's a ministry together. It's not. It's together. And I appreciate it. And I love you, girlfriend, with all my heart. I love you. I want to thank, we also have another women's ministry, in case you do not know this. We have a YWM, a young women's ministry. And Susan French is going to come and just say a few words, and she's going to introduce our speaker for this morning. And I know that you're going to be blessed. And just let the Lord open up your heart to receive what He has for you today, because there's something that He wants to say to you today. And I just want you to listen to what He has to say. thank you again for all of your support. I appreciate it.
Um, just a short clip, as Mama said, about being a part of women's ministry. It doesn't um, matter which group you go to, you need to be in a group. I want to share with you this morning, I was trying to find some things just to kind of say, um, but I found this little devotion article on why we should fellowship with other women. And it says, having a fellowship is an affair that enables us to learn, gain quality, and demonstrate to the world precisely who and what God is. There are 6 points of why we should fellowship as women. It says, fellowship supports us growing our faith in God. Fellowship encourages us to build stronger. That's when we learn and develop in our confidence. Fellowship builds us connecting each other with spiritual encouragement. Fellowship enables us to remember we're not lonely. Fellowship helps us grow near to God, and fellowship is ability to pray together. I encourage you, if you are a woman in this church and you are not a part of either one of these groups, you need to be a part of those groups. One of those groups or both groups. Sometimes you may see us at both groups, but you need to be part of a group for those 6 reasons, primarily right there. It is a wonderful time of fellowship. You create bonds that are lasting. I know that I can personally call on anybody in either group if I need prayer, if I need something, or I just need a word. So I encourage you to be a part of one of those groups and to fellowship with these ladies. I have the privilege today to introduce our guest speaker. She really doesn't need introducing. I could give you a long list of accolades and things that she's been involved in over the years, but you all know that. You know how involved and how active she is and how passionate she is about the ministries that she's a part of within the community and within our denomination. But I want to share with you one word for this woman, and that's strong. Strong. She's spiritual. She has great tenacity. There's great righteousness within this woman. She's outgoing. She's never met a stranger that she can't talk to. Nourishing and genuine. A strong woman is one who feels deeply and loves fiercely. Her tears flow just as abundantly as her laughter. A strong woman is both soft and powerful. She is both practical and spiritual. A strong woman, in her essence, is a gift to the world. And this strong woman is definitely a gift to my world. And at this time, I'd like to introduce you to our guest speaker, and that's Miss Linda Thomas.
Thank you, Susan. Susan is one of my girls. You all know that. I don't feel like much of a guest, though. I'm home. My husband always tells me before I speak 3 points, a poem, and a prayer. Now, you all do see what time it is, don't you? I told him I did have 3 points, but I had a little prelude to it, so I'm going to have to go. Susan's manning the screen back there, so Susan, you might have to zip a little bit because I'm probably not going to say everything that I gave you on my script, so we can, in the interest of time. I do want to share with you, ladies, one thing before I get started, though. Weekend after next, the weekend of March 20th and 21st, on Friday night the 20th and Saturday morning the 21st, the North Carolina Women's Ministries is having a retreat, and it's close enough this time. There's no excuse for us not to participate. It is at Moorhead at the Glad Tidings Church. Tangi Callahan, who is an outstanding speaker and woman of God, will be the speaker for this. And so if any of you are interested in going, please let us know. I don't know that we're planning have plans to go as a group or spend the night or whatever. But I'm planning to go for the Friday night service. And so let me know if you're interested at all in this. This is going to be a really good retreat, I believe. So I'd like to let you know about that. Okay, and I do want to preface what I'm going to say by this. You know, sometimes, and I'm sure Pastor, wherever he disappeared to, oh, there he is. I'm sure Pastor relates to this. Sometimes you start planning something and everything that you thought you were going to say ends up not being what you turn out to prepare. Well, that's one of those things that's happened to me this time, Pastor. What I started out with, the Lord just led me in a completely different direction. And I think probably what you're going to hear today is going to be maybe more informative, but it also has a connection that I want us to make this morning. Our theme for Women's Ministry Day this year is Rise. And the scripture that I'm sharing with you this morning in connection with the theme is a portion of Paul's testimony when he was standing before King Agrippa. He was giving his defense before this king and his accusers about how his life had been changed when he met Jesus on the road to Damascus. You know, Paul had been his name was Saul, and he had been a persecutor of the Christians. But when he met Jesus on the road to Damascus, everything changed. His whole life changed, and Jesus called him there to be an evangelist and to spread the gospel. And so that Damascus Road experience made all the difference. And when he heard the words of Jesus saying, "Rise up and stand on your feet, for I have appeared to you for this purpose, to make you a minister and a witness both of the things which you have seen and of the things that I will yet reveal to you." This initiated Paul's ministry. He had a clear call from God about what he was supposed to do. However, we all know from reading the epistles of Paul, the letters he wrote to the churches, that his ministry was not as easy and clear-cut as that call sounded. He came across a lot of situations, jail, prison, the shipwrecks, all of the hard places that he had to go through. So his ministry wasn't always easy, but he never relented. He rose up to meet the occasion for whatever it was that needed to be done. Well, I can imagine that little Miss Lila Berry, a lady who started the ministry of women's ministry years ago. I remember her well. She was a petite little lady, a pastor's wife. She had 5 children and just a really busy little lady. And how she had time to do anything else, I don't know. But God called her to organize women's ministries 76 years ago. And if she could come back today and see women's ministries around the world, she would not be able to believe it. The unexpected things that God has put in the circle that has grown the women of this church and brought them together. Because as time progressed, she initially started this ministry for ministers' wives, a fellowship. She saw how the men, when they went to conventions and all, the pastors, how they fellowshipped and enjoyed their time together, and they became so close. And she said, well, we wives need something like that too. And so she started women's ministries as just a fellowship for the wives. But over time, she saw a greater need, and she saw that the women of the church needed to have that opportunity for fellowship and all too. And so she expanded the ministry to include that. And before long, she saw some other needs arise. And one of the first things that she initiated was what she called the Santa Claus train for Falcon Children's Home. And she initiated that and reached out to the children there. And from that, so many ministries and so many outreaches have come from the women's ministries. Like Paul, Miss Lila's vision went far beyond anything ever expected. Miss Lila had some hard times in getting this ministry going. Everything wasn't easy for her, but she never relented. I was very blessed in January of 2000 to see the expansion of some of these ministries when I went to Zambia, Africa. I saw some of the sacrifices that had been made there for those women to come to that training. They rode the backs of old big trucks that went through muddy roads to get them there. They walked, many of them, many miles to come to the training. And they had made some great sacrifices to get to that training session. But what I encountered there was life-changing for me, because though their trip was hard and their resources were meager, they had a sincere desire to make a difference in the lives of the people that their fellow citizens. And aside from the training sessions, the other thing that we did was very impressive to me, because we had learned that these women had taken on a sewing project. They were teaching their other women how to sew, and men and women to sew. And if you look in this picture, you'll see this is a gentleman at this sewing machine. And we ladies in America had heard about their project and how they needed sewing machines. And so all over the United States, women had collected funds and money to send to them to help them to buy sewing machines and sewing equipment. And so I was blessed to be a part of that group who went and ministered to them in the training, and also to take that money to them. And what a blessing it was to be a part of that. But do you think Miss Berry would ever have dreamed that her ministry would have done that when she started it on the floor of the Falcon Camp meeting in the convention there 76 years ago? I doubt it. God put her on a different course. And so today, here at Holly Hill, as you've already heard, we have a very active women's ministries group. As I recall, it started in the late 50s or maybe early 60s. I think it was the late 50s. But out of that women's ministries group that was started then, there has grown a lot of other ministries that have come. We started just a fellowship meeting, and as the girls have told, and I'm not going to reiterate everything they've told you, all of the things that they do in the interest of time. I'm skipping a lot of my little notes here. But one of the things that I would like to note is that out of the women's ministries group came the young women's ministries group. They call us the wiser women, and we call them the smarter women now. So it's funny because we always did everything with the fancy glass dishes and the fine tablecloths and all. And these girls come along and say, let's just use paper cups and plastic cups. So we've learned they're smarter than we were, because they didn't have the dishes to wash and all the things to clean up that we did. So we call them the smarter generation. But they also have come behind, and they have their unique ministries. And I couldn't help but think about what's happened with the outreach across the street, something that came out of a necessity, just like with Paul. A necessity arose. And out of that, Christy's heart was touched. And because Christy's heart was touched and she acted on it, she rose up to do something. Others, so many others have participated in that ministry and that outreach. And out of that, I heard Christy say she had found her purpose in life. So through women's ministries and through these other outreaches, men's ministries, whatever ministry you're a part of, you have an opportunity to make a difference in somebody's life. And so women's ministries is designed to utilize the abilities and the talents for the cause of Christ. It's natural that we'd want to help our own people, but we also have an opportunity to reach out into the neighborhood and to help other people as well. And through the opportunities of the IPHC Church Women's Ministries, the local churches are given just myriads of ideas and suggestions and ways we can do that. What we know is that we are called to evangelize. And just like Paul, we are called to reach out. We are not called just to serve ourselves, but we are called to reach out. And we know that God is the evangelistic planner. He has a gospel purpose in every unexpected challenge he puts before us. Paul tells us in Ephesians 6:15 that God wants people whose feet wear the good news of peace to stand strong, fully prepared, and ready to move with the gospel. And we are committed to being a part of the Great Commission. We believe in that message that he left when he said, "Go ye into the world." Most of us will not likely be able to go, but we can all help send. John Stephen Piper, pastor and leader of Desiring God, warns us that once we catch the vision and the purpose of God for His church, moving with the heart for the lost, there will be many interruptions and many new surprises. But that doesn't excuse us, neither should it hinder us from pursuing the opportunities to fulfill the mission that God has for us. One thing we have learned here at Holly Hill Church, even when our own coffers are lean, as we have continued to rise up and send and support people in other areas of ministry, missionaries, people in dire situations, God has been faithful to make provision for us to meet the needs here at Holly Hill. And I have seen that God has met those needs. So our monthly meetings, as Joy has told you, is a time of fellowship and awakening and us having an opportunity to bind ourselves together and to pray together and to share our hearts with each other, as well as learn. We have some good devotions and learning. And all of these things are wonderful and good. But as long as we just do that and stay within our own little huddle, we aren't really doing the Great Commission. We aren't really doing the things that God's called us to do. Now, some of you might see WM just as a fundraising organization because a lot of times that's what we come to you with. I give you coin folders and somebody else asks you to bring something, commodities, or take up an offering for this or take up an offering for that. But behind every fundraiser is a spiritual purpose. And as you support these purposes, you are, and here's what I want you to grasp today, you are supporting the mission statement of the Holly Hill Church. Let me relate that to you. Every Sunday, you see this on your bulletin. You see it every Sunday. Do you grasp it? Do you think about it? Are we living it? The mission of Holly Hill Church is to awaken the faithful, reach the lost, and make the church matter. If this mission is to be fulfilled, every ministry in this church has to be aligned to it. So although this is not the message I thought I was going to be bringing today, it is where the Lord led me. And so I want to share with you how I feel women's ministries aligns with this mission statement. Number one, awaken the faithful. Romans 13:11 says, it is important to understand the present time. The hour has already come for you to wake up from your slumber, because our salvation is nearer now than when we first believed. At Holly Hill Church, we are so blessed with a vibrant youth ministry. We have young people who have hearts for God. And it's so important that we support them and we pray for them and that we stir up the gift of God which is in them. It's important that we supply them with the means of fulfilling their purpose in life. And the IPHC colleges provide those opportunities as well. The V4E, Vision for Education, which we more formally know as the Feast of Ingathering offering that we take every year, which is a fundraiser, supports these colleges: Advantage College, Emmanuel College, Holmes Bible College, and Southwestern Christian University. Many young people from around the world attend these schools. They go there with mediocre faith and little knowledge of their purpose for life. It's amazing to see. Joe and I have the privilege of going often to Emmanuel College, and it's amazing to see how God's working on these college campuses. Spiritual awakening is happening. By your support, the spiritual awakenings are happening in these schools. Students are finding God's purpose for their lives, and they're being called of God to serve in places of ministry. Pastors, missionaries, doctors, lawyers, engineers, teachers, coaches, you name it. They're being trained there to serve God. And you have a part in that because your gifts through this sponsorship helps provide those scholarships and helps to meet the needs to support these colleges. These students are going to make a difference in our world. These young people are going to make a difference in our world. They're going to be a part of the awakening. And you're supporting that. You're supporting our church mission statement, that awakening spirit that needs to happen through support of this. I want you to share with you now a little bit of what Bishop Chris Thompson of Holmes Bible College has to say about your part in the Vision for Education offering.
Hello, Holly Hill Church. It's been a long time since I've been able to worship with you guys. I trust you're well. Trust you're doing very, very nice. God bless you. It's good to speak to you for just a moment or two. Holmes Bible College is a very, very special place in the Lord. As you know, it is the oldest continuing operational Pentecostal Bible college in America, in the world, and in the universe. Betty and I are just so glad to be here. We thank the Lord for this opportunity to serve the Bible College. The Lord is blessing here. The Lord is doing some very, very special things. We're on a new campus. We have 7 buildings on this new campus, and then there is a 8th building, which is the President's home. But all 7 of the buildings of the main campus are debt-free. That is a miracle of God. And then we have students that in themselves are miracles. They have come from 7 different nations, from 7 different states. We have near 80 students this semester. We're graduating students every year, and most of them immediately go into pastoring, evangelizing, and even some missionaries around the world. And you are helping to make it possible. Every year, what used to be called the Feast of Ingathering, now called Vision for Education, the ladies come to Holmes Bible College. Last year, they brought close to $40,000 for Holmes. And that $40,000 is going right into the operational expense of the college. We do not put it in the bank. We use it immediately. That amount is about 8% of the total amount to operate the Bible College for a year. And you can see that's a very, very important amount for our continuous operation. And then we have many WM groups. We have many churches that send us monthly offerings. Now, you might remember that Holmes Bible College is a faith institution. We asked our students to live by faith and for them to give at least $100 per semester hour. That's not much for a college education. And then we asked them, as we figure the total amount, that's about 17% of the total cost of their education. That means that we have to come up, the Bible College has to come up with 83%. So you see where the faith comes in. And that's where your contributions come in. So I just simply want to say thank you so much. And do not only as you continue to give, but please pray for us, because that prayer makes all the difference in the world. And when you get an opportunity, come and see us. God bless you. Betty and I would love to see you soon. Be blessed.
So you see, this is a faith school, and without your gifts, these students may never be awakened to the call of God in their life. Many of them couldn't afford to go anywhere else. So Holly Hill is helping to bring the spiritual gifts alive and stir the gifts within them, as we are with our own young people here in the church, working together with them. The next phase of our mission statement is reach the lost. Acts 8:31. And he said, how can I understand unless someone guides me. We know that this was spoken when Philip was called to go out to the desert. He had been preaching in a great revival and everything was going wonderful, and God just said, you need to go to the desert. And Philip was obedient. He went to the desert, and there he found an Ethiopian man reading from Isaiah's writings. And Philip joined this man and asked him if he understood what he was reading. And his answer was, how can I understand unless someone guides me? So, the second phase of our mission statement is to reach the lost. There are people right here in this community who don't understand the truths of the gospel, and we're called to witness to them and to help lead them to Christ. But it's also our mission to support those who leave home and travel around the world to carry the gospel. The Christmas missions offering, which Women's Ministries supports annually, goes to missionary families to help them have a little extra Christmas money. Local WMs are assigned a missionary every 4 years, and we do a lot of things for them, but one of the main things we do is to be sure to see that they have a little Christmas money. They operate on extremely tight budgets, and this annual gift is very, very important to them. Sometimes we also remember them on their birthdays and other anniversaries and other special occasions. But Jesus did leave us with the mandate to go you into all the world and preach the gospel. And so our support of these missionaries who are winning many souls to the Lord supports our church mission to reach the lost. For many years, we have been a part of the Assigned Missionary Program. We've participated in this offering for many, many years. And so we're going to hear now from one of our missionary couples that we've supported through the years from right here in the North Carolina Conference, Ron and Sharon Wooten.
Good morning to all of you wonderful folks at the Holly Hill Pentecostal Holiness Church. This is Ron and Sharon. We're coming to you live from our living room right here in Nairobi, Kenya. And we wanted to come to you today and tell you thank you so much to the church, but especially to the Holly Hill women and the women's ministry for all you do to help us. Every year at Christmas, you make our Christmas such a special, special time with the gifts that you give to missionaries. We can remember from the time we began in missions over 25 years ago now that our children every year would get so excited when we would tell them that women from the North Carolina Conference gave in those Christmas offerings, and they were able to get some special Christmas because of that. And we thank you so much for blessing us, for helping us, and all that you do for women's ministry.
Thank you so much for every prayer that you've prayed. I always tell people the most important thing you can do in missions is to pray for missionaries and pray for doors to be open in mission fields. We just traveled to Eastern Congo and had a women's ministry conference and a pastor's conference, a Bible school graduation there, and had a wonderful time. I have just been able to put together a training for the women in Kiswahili, which they use both in Kenya and several other Eastern Africa countries, and we were able to share it with the Eastern Congo. Had a great meeting with them. These are women I've talked about before that walk for days and days through the mountains to come to a conference. So they are just such a blessing, and they love the Lord. Then right after that, we got right back and had a Kenya Women's Ministry Directors training this year, and we shared what our theme in Kenya this year is going to be out of Matthew 6:33, but seek first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things will be added to you. So we want to seek first building God's kingdom together, and you are very much a part of that in your prayers and your giving. We just pray the Lord to bless you all, multiply his blessings back to you. I pray that he just continues to give you a heart for souls for the world. We are building God's kingdom together, and we thank you so much for everything you do.
Amen. God bless you. Thank you again.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
So, you see, we are a part that's fulfilling a part of our mission statement, reaching the lost through our missions giving and our Christmas offering. Okay, I'm on the third point. Make the church matter. Jesus answered, the most important of all the commandments is this: Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God is one. Love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your mind, and with all your strength. The second is this: love your neighbor as yourself. There is no commandment greater than these. One of the ways that that we can make the church matter is by reaching out to others, the needs and concerns that they have. The women have a benevolent outreach here. We reach out when people are sick and at home, can't take care of themselves. We do a lot of those kinds of things when a member of the family passes away or whatever. And even the wiser women do wedding receptions and all those kinds of things, reaching out to help, celebratory functions as well. But another main emphasis of making our church matter in our, not just our community, but in an outreach way, is focused on the Falcon Children's Home. This home was established in the early 1900s to care for orphan children. Through the years, it's changed its structure to accommodate children who are, most of them now are wards of the court, sad to say, foster children programs. And now the home also oversees the management of the Alternative to Abortion Ministry and also the adoption ministry. Currently, we have 90 children residing at the Falcon Children's Home. Holly Hill Church has been a consistent and strong supporter of this ministry for as long as I can remember. There are many opportunities that we have to help them, but one of the main ones that we enjoy so much being a part of is the harvest train. And the offering that you give to that and the commodities that you send to that every year help to carry that ministry on throughout the year. In fact, they say that that is the biggest financial maintenance they have comes through the harvest train. And that's not just the North Carolina women, but it's all of the East Coast of the United States who come on that harvest train day. It is a marvelous day. If you've never been to Falcon for Harvest Train Day, you have missed a treat. It's awesome to see it all come together, and they always do a wonderful program in appreciation for it. Executive Director, Mr. Joey Leggett, is going to share with you now how Holly Hill is making the church matter at Falcon Children's Home.
Hello, this is Joey Leggett, the CEO of Falcon Children's Home and Family Services. Congratulations to the Holly Hill women on Women's Ministries Day at the Holly Hill Pentecostal Holiness Church. Growing up the son of Faye Leggett in a pastor's parsonage, I remember how important those days are and were, and I also realized how important women's ministries are to the local church. But I want to tell you today how important the Holly Hill Women's Ministries is to Falcon Children's Home and Family Services and Royal Home Ministries. In fact, we look forward every year to seeing your entry in the annual Harvest Train Parade. I think you've won first place about 2,334 times now. You win every year. You always have a beautiful float, and it shows a lot of dedication and commitment to being a part of that parade. But your women have also shown a lot of dedication and commitment to helping make the lives of children at Falcon Children's Home and Royal Home Ministries better. Your giving has allowed us to make a difference. What are you giving to at Falcon? Well, in the last 10 years, we've gone from 19 children to over 80 children in care. We started another children's home in the state of South Carolina that's doing very, very well. We also received our license to begin licensing foster homes anywhere in the state of North Carolina, all 100 counties. And almost 7 years ago, we started for the first time our own private Christian school here on the campus. Last year, we had 16 graduates, 13 were in college last fall. In fact, Miss Linda Thomas from your church serves on that school board. Also, you give the Royal Home Ministries. And what has happened there in the last few years because of the giving? We've gone from having a little farmhouse as our campus in Salemburg, North Carolina, to a 15-acre, $2.5 million campus across the road from Falcon Children's Home and Family Services. Not just for unwed mothers, but for mothers and babies. That allows us to train these mothers to become the mother God would have them to be, let them go to our school, get their education, and graduate with a high school diploma before they set off into the real world. So you're giving to these ministries that are making a difference. Your giving allows us to give kids clothes. So I have clothes just like your kids have and my kids have. Allows us to give them school supplies when they go to school. Allows us to buy items for them when they leave here so they can have a head start on life outside of Falcon Children's Home and Family Services. In fact, I would say today that Holly Hill Women's Ministries has gone outside the walls of their comfort zone. And I'm reminded of Isaiah 54:2, where it says, enlarge your tent, stretch your curtains wide, do not hold back, lengthen your cords and strengthen your stakes. You have definitely done that. The women's ministries at the Holly Hill Pentecostal Holiness Church, you do not hold back. You treasure Falcon Children's Home. Therefore, we treasure you. You're making a difference. God bless. Have a wonderful day. And Joe Thomas, thank you for serving on the executive board of Falcon Children's Home and Family Services. God bless.
Okay, so I hope today what you've seen has made our church mission statement come alive to you. I hope you've seen that through women's ministries, these things are happening. But I also hope we recognize that if it's going to, we apply it here as well. But it's not just here that it matters. It matters everywhere, wherever we go, whatever we do. That mission statement, I hope you never look at it the same. I hope when you look at it now, you'll see that a difference is being made because of Holly Hill Church. And I hope it's enlightened you to the work of women's ministries. But my greater hope is that we'll all rise up and be actively engaged in bringing this mission statement to a reality. It's going to require a lot of us being an active participant in so many of us work in various ministries of the church, but every ministry of the church is important to bring this to place. So I'm encouraging you to find your niche. It may not be women's ministries. It may be music ministries. It may be Sunday school. It may be something else. But you are a part of making this vision, this mission, become a reality. And so we have the plan, and we have to join in. We have to work together. We have to pull together if we're going to make it work. So that said, I want you to stand up now. And we're going to do a little song that I learned in Sunday school probably 70 years ago or more. I am old. Well, they don't want to touch hands now. Why don't you join arms? Link elbows with whoever's on your row. Link elbows. And we're going to sing this little song that I learned when I was a little girl. And I want everybody to sing it with me. Some of you will know it. Ready? If we all pull together, if we all pull together, how happy we'll be. For your work is my work, and our work is God's work. If we all pull together, how happy we'll be. And if we all pull together, we're going to see this mission happen. Now, I don't know who I'm supposed to turn it to. You, Miss Joy, Pastor. Pastor. There he is. I couldn't see him.
Can we give our women another hand?